Uh, Greetings, beautiful souls. I want to welcome you to my first podcast episode. First of all, a podcast is, it's like, my point is, it's all in the energy of love and light and sharing. I'm not taking myself too serious, keeping the energy light, So I just want to introduce the concept of the podcast before my guest comes on at 2 o'clock. And I wrote it down so I can remember everything. So I pray everybody's having a wonderful day. Happy Sunday. It is 1:49 where I am. Sorry, I'm trying to fix that curl. The inception of the Divine Frequency podcast to help raise the conscious awareness of the collective in the areas of I amness, self-love, self-care, yoga, meditation, healing in its different forms, sound healing, fasting, breath work. We're going to discuss cleanses, detoxes, and yoga and meditation. Those are also can be healing modalities. We're going to talk about food consumption, our natural innate gifts that God blessed us with, talents and abilities. We're going to discuss our purpose, our calling in life, our life's work, pretty much all the same thing. We're going to talk about superpowers because I am a believer that we have superpowers. And it may not be to disappear or to teleport, well, at least not right now. For example, I believe gratitude is one of our superpowers. And because it has the power to transform circumstances. I've experienced this, and I do experience this in my personal life. We're going to talk about our bodies as a temple, living temple that is. We're going to talk about affirmations, positive thinking, creativity, etc., etc. This is a sacred space. And what does that mean? So Google defines a sacred space as a place set apart and treated with reverence, often because it's believed to be holy or connected to a higher power. It can be a physical location like a church or a temple, or a more abstract space such as a state of mind in a moment in time. Essentially, it's a place where one feels a sense of connection to something greater than themselves, whether that's a deity, a community, or a profound personal experience. Welcome to the Divine Frequency podcast, okay? So before our guest comes, I just laid it all out. That's what God put on my heart to share as an introduction for this beautiful idea that he gifted me with the other day when I had got off a live and I'm on my laptop doing some work and it just dropped in my spirit. And I'm like, I had thought about it before, but not like this, not the name. This wasn't the name I had in mind. But it's all about God at this point in my life. So this is a book I want to share with you guys real quick. It's called I Am That I Am. This is revised. It's poems, affirmations, and thoughts of reflection. The author name is Key Denye. And put my reading glasses on because when I say this is a powerful book, and I know God has really woken me up to I am that I am. And what that really means, and I'm still receiving the revelation on that because we have been programmed heavy to not know who we are and to, sometimes that lip stuff be like caking up on my lips, excuse me. And so part of my mission is to bring awareness to who we really are. You know, all of us are God manifested within us, in our spirit. He is manifested through all of us. And I refer to God as He because that's where I am right now. But God is like everywhere. God is spirit. And once we become aware of who we really are and the power that we hold, I believe that we all can begin to experience exponential growth in our lives and success, and be able to really transform. And we won't be so heavy and weighed down and not experiencing the abundant life that I believe that we should be experiencing. So this passage is from page 20 in this book. It's an affirmation, and I'm going to begin now. I am now the person I am meant to be. I know who I am. I just need to be reminded. To change the trajectory of my life, I think and feel differently about any situation, person, place, or thing, to transform the past and the future, to heal, to balance, and to harmonize the present. As I believe what I visualize becomes what I believe. So where I have been visually, I shall be in the flesh also. Because of my new awakened reality, I and everything around me, despite of myself and everything around me, are aligned with and moving in the direction where I am consciously dwelling. Did you hear that? I'm not done. As I feel that which I am meant to be, feel it, I silence myself into experiencing the reality of who I already am. I feel it in every part of my life until circumstances strike a pose, quote and quotes. Your circumstances will strike a pose to influence or form the world around me accordingly and in harmony with itself. Unbeknownst to me and unbeknownst to those around me, I am always being held and carried by my noble dreams and desires. Nothing, if I do not worry about how or when it will happen, can stop my beautiful dreams or desires from happening. In my daydreams, I envision many mansions, and since I have gone to prepare a place for myself, I come back into this physical reality to magnetize and pick up for myself everything and anything that aids in the manifestation of those daydreams. I no longer worry about how or when what I desire to be, will happen, because I know that what I have desired already is, baby. And that's what the divine frequency is about. Our I amness. You know, that's why I'm here with this podcast. I will have guests on by the grace of God. Even my guest today is a powerhouse. Aaliyah's probably like 5'4". I'm gonna confirm when she gets on here, but she is like dynamite, a stick of dynamite or a bundle of dynamite. She is power packed. She is a phenomenal young lady, and I'm grateful that she wanted to grace or accepted my invitation to be my first guest on my podcast. I mean, we live together and she's a powerhouse, so how can I overlook her? And then I have another phenomenal guest lined up after her, and I have a couple people I'm still waiting to hear back from, but my intention is to share the wealth of us. Like, you can overcome obstacles in your life. You can make bring anything into reality that you desire. Some things do take time, and people believe what they believe about being able to manifest things. I'm a firm believer that divine timing is at play, because I believe certain components need to be put into place before some things are actually manifested. Some people got to be in a proper place or position, and God don't make people do anything. So it's like circumstances and situations sometimes have to draw things out of people, or their heart need to be tenderized, or some people might live across the world or country, and arrangements need to be actually made for them to be able to come in. So, one moment. That's what I'm talking about divine timing and manifestation. And while you're waiting for something to manifest, work on you. Continue to work on you. Continue to tighten yourself up. Prepare for your answered prayer. Remember, luck is only preparedness meeting opportunity. Preparation meeting opportunity. I heard Oprah Winfrey say that years ago, and it just really resonated. I'm like, yeah, people be talking about luck. No, you were prepared and the opportunity presented itself. But how about you preparing yourself drew the opportunity in? So yeah, this is quite irritating. Okay, well, we're not gonna let that stop us. We had a situation in our house that kind of tried to off track this podcast, so I barely made it here. Punctuality is important to me, so I had to do what I had to do to get on here. And apparently, I didn't get to my lip stuff ahead of time. So, let me see. Okay. Okay, it's adding you. This is my first time trying this out, guys. I'm praying everything works. It was said that it would be a split screen. Bingo, we're live, we're on. Aaliyah, welcome, babe. Thank you for being my first guest. So what I did forget to mention to the audience is I did write down some questions. I want to go with the flow with how she answered. I've never interviewed people before, but I do have backup questions in case I, get stuck or something. So let me introduce her before we get into it. This young lady is a licensed esthetician and the owner. I'm feeling sentimental. I'm sorry. I'm a crybaby. I'm sorry. The owner of Lovely Beauty. She is the mother of my youngest grandchild, Legend. And this little guy is producing beats at 6 years old. Maybe I'll have him on my podcast one day. And he has been creating beats since he was 2 years old, okay? She is also a student and works a full-time job. She's my eldest child. I gave birth to Aaliyah when I was in the 11th grade. Yeah. Please welcome Aaliyah El-Amin to the podcast. Hey, welcome. So, Aaliyah, how are you doing today?
Hello, I'm doing well.
You look good.
Thank you. You look good too, ma.
Oh, thanks. Um, so we all can get to know you better. Tell us a little bit about your background. Where did you grow up? What high school did you graduate from? And we can go from there.
Okay. Well, I am from Cleveland, Ohio. Graduated from Cleveland School of Architecture and Design at John Hay. Um, which originally I wanted to be a creator, which I am still a creator, but that was my original path as a young scholar. and and as well as I am currently located in Atlanta, Georgia. I have been in Atlanta for well, this is my fourth year. October makes 4 years.
Oh, wonderful.
And yeah, did I miss a
Okay.
question, Ma?
Yeah, yeah, thank you. Um, let's talk about your faith real quick because you mentioned you in October it'll be 4 years that you moved to Georgia. And to my understanding, it was your faith that um, inspired you to relocate to Georgia. Am I correct? And if so, tell us about how your faith was working for you that helped you to decide to move to Georgia.
Well, yeah, the faith had is what has brought me to Georgia and has kept me here as well. Originally, I wanted to move to Georgia to. I got accepted into Clark, Atlanta. Um, Going to a HBCU was very important to me when I graduated high school, and I was going to dance for the band, Clark Atlanta, and I wanted to try out and go into a sorority and just live the college life. But at that time, it was not the best time for me to go because being an out of state student transferring into a university, it is expensive, and at the time, it just wasn't a part of my financial journey.
Mm-hmm.
A re- After years passed, relocating to Georgia has always been in my heart. I would travel back and forth multiple times throughout the year to come and visit. And what initially caused me to move was growing up in Cleveland, Ohio. Of course, family and friends are there, and you can tend to become comfortable.
Mm, good
Um,
point.
and I'm always looking to grow in any aspect that I can to become a better person. And I just felt as if my spirit was not growing anymore in
Mm,
Cleveland. Back at home, there are a lot of traumatic energy for me, especially a lot of crime, which is crime everywhere, but it kind of is different when it's hitting more and more closer to home. And the overall energy was just not feeding my spirit any longer in Cleveland. So the opportunity, I set myself a goal. 2020, when the pandemic happened, I decided to go back to school to become an esthetician. And when I made that decision at the end of 2020, I had set in my goal for my New Year's resolution for 2021 that I was moving to Georgia. At the time, I was living with my best friend. Well, we was living together. We had a house
mhm,
together, and we were speaking about renewing our lease. Did we want to renew the lease again for another year? And I had told her at the beginning of the year, like, I'm moving to Georgia. I didn't know how. We were going through a pandemic at the time. A lot of people, the future was uncertain for us at that time. And that was even more of a reason why I was like, yeah, I got to get out of here. If we down to our last days, I don't want my last days to be here.
mhm, right.
So I just started to make a plan, and step by step, I just started to execute the plan. My first move was to graduate aesthetic school, which it doesn't stop there. I also have to pass a state test as well after graduating from school. So that was one of the main things that I wanted to bring with me down here, because Georgia is a reciprocal state to Ohio. So a lot of licenses you can transfer over without having to do
Oh,
any additional schooling.
thank you. That's good
So
to know. Okay.
yeah, so that was another thing I had to do my research, because I knew I wanted to relocate. I didn't want going to school to be in vain. So once I passed my state board test with the state of Ohio, it was go from there. At the time, I was bartending, so the money that I was making, I was saving. And honestly, God blessed me. He blessed me with very huge blessing that was unexpected. It was literally like I received the blessing in April and I moved in October. So it was literally
Mm.
months before I moved. But moving was always a part of the plan. Like I didn't know how I was going to get there, but I
But you
just
used your
knew.
faith. You just said,
I
this is what
knew
the plan
God,
is.
yeah, I put it in effect, I put it in the atmosphere, and I just knew in my heart that God was going to bring that into fruition for me.
Right.
Which it wasn't easy. It wasn't like a hop, skip, and a jump. Oh, I'm relocating. At the time, my son was 1 when I made the decision, but he was 2 when we moved. I also relocating wasn't easy because I, as much as I traveled back and forth to Georgia, I was not familiar with how huge it was and the different cities, towns, communities. So finding a place to live was not easy at all. I had been looking for months. I even hired someone that ultimately scammed me out of money that was supposed to
Mm.
be helping me find a place. So
Oh,
at that point,
I
I was
remember.
left. Once my money was lost, I was like, is this a sign? Like, maybe I shouldn't
Right.
go. Like, why would I get scammed? And I'm just trying to move. And I didn't really know where else to go. I didn't know, like, what should I do now? I also have an eviction on my background, which caused it to be a little harder for me to find a place to live.
Right.
But I had already set in my heart, I had let my family know I'm leaving. So at this point, we're looking in June. We're in
Hmm.
about June where I'm starting from scratch. I have to find a place to live. Our lease is up in October. I really wanted to be going at the end of September. So I'm just looking now. I'm just on faith, doing applications, and October 1st come, and I still was not approved from anywhere. I didn't have a place to live, but our place was packed up. My best friend, she had already had her place to stay. She had moved out at the end of September, so I had until October 1st to leave, and it was like, well, we don't have a place to stay, but I have everything already in line for me to move to Georgia. So I still packed up the truck, which also wasn't easy. I didn't have help. Well, I want to say that I did have help. My sister, she came and she helped me. It was
Okay.
literally me and my sister, my little
Okay.
sister, Alexis. She came. My best friend, she did
Thank
come
you,
and
Lacey.
help,
Right.
and
Thank you,
she
Lacey.
had men come like at the end to put the deep freezer on the truck and the washer and dryer because obviously m- m- 2 women can't move that onto a truck. So I packed up and I left. Everything else was moved. So yes, let me backtrack a little bit. Yes, finding a place to stay, that was the hardest hurdle during my journey of moving to Georgia. Everything else was falling in line. So that's what kept me motivated. Even though yes, I didn't have a place to live, but everything else was falling in line.
Right.
I got my license. I was able to transfer them over. What else? The money. I ended up getting the money that was needed for me to relocate. I was able to find someone to drive the truck because that was another dilemma. I had a large truck with all of our things on it, and it was just me and my 2-year-old son. I didn't want to have to drive through the mountains from Ohio all the way to Georgia by myself. I really wanted a man to drive for me.
Right.
I had reached out to several males in my family, which never came through, but eventually a good friend of mine, he had agreed to drive the truck if I would pay for his flight to come back home. So that was everything else was falling in line for me to move. So I'm just like, okay, well, that's my sign. Like, we might not know everything at every moment. And yes, I am jumping out on faith, moving to a completely different state without a place to live with my 2-year-old son. But I did have friends at the time that lived here. So I knew worst case scenario, we can just stay with them for a little while until I find a place. We got down here. It was the weekend of Halloween. And I was able to keep my truck because the package that I got with the U-Haul, it allowed me multiple days to keep the truck after I come here because I was moving from one state to another, and they have a different price and a different package when it comes to like relocating to another state, which allowed me to keep the truck for a while. So I had 3 additional days after I got here to have my truck.
Mhm.
On day 2, I got a call getting approved to my place. Literally a day before I had to turn the truck in, which I was praying that we didn't have to unload the truck. I
Put it
didn't
in
have
the
to get
storage
a,
or
yeah,
something.
I didn't want to do that. I just wanted everything to just keep rolling.
Flow, yeah.
Yeah. So, it was literally God. Like, I don't understand how y'all can, when I got here on day 1 and me and my baby was asleep, I was so scared. Like, I was like, I hope I did not make a mistake. Like, I just
Oh,
brought my son here and,
to
we
do that
living in
test.
somebody else's house. And it wasn't up to my standards, but I was just going with the punches, like trusting God. Like, if anything, we'll get back on this truck and go back home, like
Right.
I just didn't want to put my baby in a vulnerable position
Yeah.
because I'm doing something that I want to do.
Yeah.
So when we got approved on day 2, I'm like, oh, thank you, Jesus. We still got the truck. So the dude that drove us down here, he wasn't here anymore. So it was just me and 2 of my female friends that we unloaded the whole truck, even the washer and dryer. We seen somebody walking in the parking lot, so they ended up helping us. But long story short, everything started to flow. And that was just confirmation to me that this is where I'm supposed to be. Like, sometimes we might, when you're trying something new or you doing something you never done before, you becoming someone you never became before, we're not going to always have the answers, and it's not going to always look how we want it to look,
Yeah.
especially when you're building your faith with your creator. He has to get you in a level of understanding to trust him. You're going into this new journey. I need your faith to be on 1,000. Even
Mm.
when you don't even know,
Yeah.
you need to know that I got you.
Right.
And that's just
That's
it.
just
Like,
right.
I just trusted God. Like, I don't know any other people ask me all the time, like, how did you do it? God. And like, there is no other answer. I didn't have a place to live when I moved here. So that lets you know how far he has taken me. Even now, I'm 4 years in. I've thought so many times to go back home. Being here with my son, getting through the motions of learning a new state. They have totally
Mhm.
different rules here in Georgia
Yes, they
compared
do.
to up north. So just faith. I love God and God loves me, and he continuously showed that throughout my journey of just me finding myself and my place in the world.
Perfect. I love that answer. I love how being such a young lady, and I always found you to be such like I introduced you as before you came on as being, what are you, 5'4"?
5'1".
I'm not laughing at you. I was just way off. And I'm like, she's so short, but she's like dynamite. Like, you're a powerhouse to me. I'm grateful to have you as my daughter, my eldest daughter at that, because you were a tremendous help for me um, since you came through. So I want to thank you for being you, Aaliyah. And now I would like to switch to, because let me see, it is 2:18. So at 2:30, you can leave because I did say for 30 minutes. Just to get started, I'm asking people for 30 minutes at a time. And as I get acclimated to interviewing, but and then I'll finish off with some end things after that. But tell me, where did the vision for Lovely Beauty come from, and why the name Lovely Beauty?
I wanted to start a business for a long time. I think I was about 18 when the idea came to like start a business, and I've always wanted to already have my business name. I played around with a lot of names and stuff like that. But as I went through my journey of self love and just understanding my connection with my creator, love was one thing that I wanted to make very apparent in my.
Sorry, I should have turned off my. Hold on. Okay. I'm sorry about that. I forgot to switch my thing.
I came up with the idea because when you sign off, everything I do, I want it to be with purpose. And everything I touch, I'm a very passionate person. So if I'm putting my time into something, it's coming from a place of love. So when you sign a letter or you sign off on something, at the end of the letter, you say, sincerely, Aaliyah,
Right.
or love Aaliyah. But my nickname is Lee. And I wanted my brand to be creative, to be something a little different, to play on words. So instead of lovely, the regular word Lovely, I came up with love, Love, and my nickname is Lee. So it's like I'm signing off on this. That's how I came up with it.
Ooh. See, you
It's
never told me that. That's
it's
powerful.
my
I love that.
signature. This is me. This is
Yeah,
my
you
touch
backing it.
on it of whatever I'm creating.
Right. That's
Yeah.
dope. So what else I would like to know is what are all the services that Lovely Beauty what are all your services?
So currently at the moment, I am offering mobile services where I bring the experience of a luxury spa service into the comfort of your home. And I also do body waxing as well. More services are in the works to be added on as I build up my clientele, and I'm actually entering into more holistic activities that I would like to add on as well, which includes education. So as I evolve in my knowledge, I am planning to add other holistic techniques into my services. The purpose of Lovely Beauty is to help bring the importance of self care. A lot of times people think or view massages or facials as like a luxury, which in some instances they can be a luxury, but
Yeah.
most times, especially massage therapy, it's a necessity. We use more muscles than we know on a daily basis, and most people aren't attending to those muscles. As we get older, our muscles tend to create muscle memory. That's where the term muscle memory comes from. And if you're not feeding into your muscles as much as you're using them, just like a rubber band, it is still whole, but it just gets more and more wore out. The elasticity is no
Hmm.
longer there anymore. So that's what
Wow.
happens with our muscles. Massage therapy helps keep the tonus within your muscles. It has a lot of benefits with metabolism. It helps with your skin. Some people that have problems sleeping or anxiety, massage therapy helps release those different toxins that's within our body with through not only energy but also a chemical reaction that our body lets off once we are feeling good. So there's a lot of benefits that come with self-care that me as a black person I would like to bring to the community and just help them to understand like this isn't a luxury, this is a necessity. The benefits that you'll receive by feeding into yourself will be something that you probably would never imagine because you never did it before. so
Right.
um that is where I am currently with my services, but eventually it will turn into a wellness, um more of a rounded wellness.
Like holistic type of
Yeah.
service. Okay.
Yes.
That is a beautiful vision that you have implemented into this 3D reality from the inside, and it was manifested outward. So I wish you much success in your business, Lovely Beauty. I know it's going to grow on to do great things because it's just starting out, you know. Anything you're behind, I've just watched you like put the Meraki into everything you do, your whole soul, and I'm I'm proud to call you my daughter because of that. That's like an excellent trait to have, and I would hope I can be credited for it. I'm kidding. But okay, to wrap it up, because now we are at 2:24. Um, let's see. Oh, I would love, please let me get two in real quick. Do you have an affirmation or a thought about yourself, your life, that is constant in your thoughts or in your heart? Do you have something that you play on repeat, or something that when life's challenges come and try to hit you or knock you off, bop, 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 this is what it is, you know, you got to set things straight. Do you have something like that? And if you do, give it to me.
Yes, I have a scripture. Now, I'm not a religious person, but I hold God true to me, and my foundation in Christianity. There's certain things that I keep with me. And First Corinthians is a scripture that's actually my business slogan. Let all that you do be done in love. And to me, that is like the God within you, because God is love. So if as long as any decision I'm making, or even conflicts, when conflicts arise, or some type of misunderstanding with people, I really try to be conscious on how I'm handling situations. I really want to come from a place of love, even if it's something that someone might not want to hear, or they might not like my response. I'm coming from a love place, and I can be okay and sleep good at night knowing that it was coming from a place of love, you know. So that's how I move. Even everything I do, I like it to be in from a place of love. So yes, let all that you do be done in love. Yes.
I love that. That's a powerful scripture because love is the highest vibration. Nothing is greater than love. And I believe that is because God is love. Um, Final question. What impact would you like to make on the world, or what is your legacy? Give it to me now, now. Give it to me now. Give it to me now, now. Give it to me now.
Um, when it's all said and done, I just want people to look at me and see me as like this inspirational goddess, knowledgeable, um, dedicated, and whatever I do. So I'm still figuring out exactly what I would want my legacy to be,
Yeah.
but I know that it will be something very powerful, because I am created to be in God's image. I am created to be a God being on the earth, helping people find their purpose and find their light within themselves.
Mm,
By the fact that I move in love, the more that I learn and grow within my spirit, the more people will naturally start to love themselves based off of how I give and show love. So that's
yeah.
how I would want things to be. Just yeah, like when it's all said and done, that would be my legacy. And definitely I would love for my son to follow within our footsteps of being some type of spiritual human in the world, doing his thing as well, keeping the legacy going. But that would be for my personal legacy, yes, for me.
That's a beautiful um, legacy to want to leave behind. And the fact that you want to pass it down to your son is awesome because, I feel like that's what it's all about. Um, Doing something that positive or implementing positive things that one would want to pass down. One, like the generations can grow stronger and stronger, after each generation because you got something to feed off of. Like you have something that was implemented, set up for you, something I wish, I could have had in place early on in you guys' life. But like I was saying earlier, it's never too late to make a change. So with that being said, Aaliyah, thank you again for coming on my podcast, The
Mhm.
Divine Frequency, my first episode. I will probably go back in and edit this to tag you in it. Um, if you have any questions for Aaliyah or would like to reach out to her in reference to her business, please feel free to reach out to her in her DMs. I guess that would be so. All right. Mwah. Continue to make your life shine
Bye.
because you are divine, my love. I'll talk to you in a few minutes.
Okay.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.
All right, you guys. So thank you for joining me on my first podcast episode. And, be patient with me while I'm tightening some things up. This kind of came to me spur of the moment, I would say. And there were some components that I need to get into place. And it's going to get better. This is just the beginning. But that was such an awesome interview. And yes, she is my oldest daughter. And I love all of my children just the same. I can't say that I love any of them more than the other one. But what I will say is that just the fact that she took time out of her day to do this podcast, and I think 30 minutes is a beautiful amount of time because, we're just getting our feet wet here, okay? So if you could please do me a favor, if anybody is watching this now, I don't know, it looks like one person is on. My vision for this podcast is after the guest comes on and they leave because I don't want to take too much of people's time. I'm not paying anyone to be here at this point. But if there was a takeaway that you had, if there was something Aaliyah said that hit home to you and it was maybe an impactful statement to you that she made, if it was something that you would just like to point out that she mentioned, I would be interested in hearing what you have to say. So this part of the podcast, after my guests leave, after the 30-minute interview, I want to open the floor up to my viewers. Anyone who came across this video, if you wanted to share, please share. And then going forward, as it grows, I would like to share the screen with each person. If that's something you would want to do, just put SS and say, put SS on a comment and I'll pull you up on a split screen like I did her interview. This whole vision came from God. I got to give God all the credit. And just so you guys know, when you're stepping out and doing something that God put on your heart to do, it's a lot of faith, especially when it's something new that you've never done before. I'm up here figuring things out. I'm trying to make a flyer with ChatGPT. ChatGPT wasn't getting it the way I needed it to be. And all that is new, like explaining, okay, I want it to look like this. And then it kept changing my design every time I was trying to get it to fit something. So I was able to get that up, but that wasn't the original idea for the flyer, but it's the flyer that was meant to go up anyway. And I was able to, that's why I just had to put in the notes that the podcast episode started at 2 o'clock, not 5 p.m., because that was something that was changed after I made the flyer. Either way, that's the vision for the divine frequency. Like I said, I plan on covering a multitude of topics that are already named off and more, but it's mainly like in line with exuding our power, using faith, using gratitude. I want to hear about your walk. I want to hear about your transformation. I want to hear about how you went from being, I want to hear the total transformation stories. And why? Because this energy is something that needs to be put out. You know, when you keep things inside, it helps no one. You let it out, and that's what testimonies are for. People can actually use it. It's encouraging to them. And not just that, but it gives God glory. You know, sure, we might tell our family members and close friends about it, but baby, I'm at the point where I'm ready to tell the world how good God is, how awesome God is. You don't need religion to have a relationship with God. And I'm not bashing any religion. I have a lot of people in my family and friends who are. But religion and just having being on a spiritual journey is kind of different. It's the same in some ways. My point is, some people are under the misconception that you have to be this title, that title, to be able to experience the power of God or freedom in your life. And the reason why this is a truth for me today is because I've experienced it myself. This has become a reality for my life when I decided to allow myself to be made free. And with that being said, you feel free to leave me a comment. Like I said, I'm going to try to edit the post, but she is tagged on the flyer. So if you have any questions or you want to reach out to her in regards to services, we are located in the Decatur, Georgia area. But Aaliyah does travel to Cleveland, and she has done services when she's traveled up there before. But if anyone is down here in the Georgia area, you're looking to get any type of esthetician services done, waxing, please reach out to her if that's what you're interested in. I'm not like trying to sell her to you guys. She was my guest. This is what she do. And I think out of respect and honor, it will only be natural to be able to put a support out there for the person who was on your podcast or, was a guest to do that. All right, you guys. Remember, and I'm gonna have these lips together next time, y'all. I'm sorry y'all had to look at this. And y'all probably have to look at it before, because I think I noticed it before, but we gonna tighten it up. It's gonna get better. Stick with your girl. We got some things coming, going on here on my page now that I'm living a new life. So can remember to continue, because I know you already are. Continue to let your light shine, because you are divine. All right.